Hi rock fans, hi everyone. This is a very, very hot day here in Montreal today. So now we're getting into a new decade, the 70s, and so this time I am going to choose my top 5 favorite rock albums from the year 1970, which was, in my opinion, one of the best year of the whole 70s. The early 70s were pretty good, and there were a lot of good albums. It was very hard to choose only 5 albums. James Taylor, Sweet Baby James was pretty good. David Bowie, The Man Who Sold the World, The Beatles, Let It Be, CCR, Cosmos Factory, Santana, Abraxas, and albums like Paul McCartney, his debut album, could be in my top 10. Same thing for The Doors, Morrison Hotel, and the Black Sabbath debut album, which didn't make the top 5. The Black Sabbath debut album could be number 6, probably. So here we go, because I have to choose only 5. So at number 5, and I'd like to know your opinion. So at number 5, the album I pick is Black Sabbath Paranoid, which was their second album. And this was a solid, heavy rock and very dark album, and with songs like War Pigs, Paranoid, Planet Caravan, Iron Man. With songs like that, you can't go wrong. So Black Sabbath Paranoid at number 5. Okay, next at number 4, and this is something very different. I'm talking about John Lennon Plastic Ono Band. And I think a lot of people would probably put the album higher, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people would choose this album as their favorite. And this is something, compared to Black Sabbath, this is something pretty slow, but there were a couple of good rock songs anyway. But what I love best, about this album, Plastic Ono Band, is the lyrics. Very strong lyrics. There is something very sensible and very provocative about the lyrics, and I love songs like Mother. What else? We have God, Look at Me, uh, Working Class Hero. Most of the songs, Isolation. Most of the songs are good, and the Beatles proved that they were great artists even as solo artists. So John Lennon, Plastic Ono Band at number 4. Okay, next at number 3 is Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Deja Vu, and this is a classic, and I always love their vocal harmonies, great vocal harmonies, and there's a couple of classics here like Carry On, Woodstock, the title track Deja Vu, Our House 4 and 20. Pretty good, great album. So Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Deja Vu at number 3. Number 2 is another Beatles solo album, and this time I'm talking about George Harrison, All Things Must Pass, and what a great and surprising album. This was a triple album, and George wrote, he had a bunch of songs in the Beatles' late years, but he finally released these songs, with this album, All Things Must Pass, and what a great album. You can't go wrong with songs like I'd Have You Anytime, What Is Life, My Sweet Lord, of course. Lot of great songs. Ballad of Sir Frankie Crisp, Waiting on You All. Most of the songs are good. George Harrison, All Things Must Pass at number 2. And finally at number 1, maybe it might be a surprising choice, but I think most of the people would put this album at least in their top 10. And I'm talking about the Led Zeppelin Tree, which was their third album. And I always love this album. I think it's an underrated album. And I love the combination of folk and hard rock songs, and most of the songs are good here. Immigrant Song, Tangerine, That's the Way, Friends, Celebration Day. I love the album from start to finish, and this is my number one choice, Led Zeppelin 3. So that was it. I hope you enjoyed, and I'd like to know what is your top 5 favorite rock albums of the year 1970. So thanks for watching, and see you for my next video.